a podcast your mama warned you about. Did ya hear me?
Welcome everybody back from spring break. Did you hear me? Episode 26. Coming back at you. Rested, feeling rejuvenated. I'm here, Sleezy on the mic. I'm here with PackMan.
Hello, hello.
There you are. And back, hit a double spring break. The sheriff.
I'm back in the lack, man. Ready, excited.
Back in the lab.
Beautiful guest here. Just the knees quivering.
Yeah, we're fortunate and humbled to be joined by one of my good friends and just a good guy, Swole LaValley, or J Valley as he's known on the streets.
That's right.
We appreciate you joining us.
Glad to be here, man.
A brother of many. That's a biological brother, not any other term
There are
that might be used for.
There are a lot of male LaValleys out there.
Yeah, I know them all.
No rebuttal because it's a fact.
It is a fact.
It is a fact. So no, we're glad to have you here. We'll get into all that you have to offer us here. I know
Probably not a lot.
a lot of pressure, but since we're all thirsty, it's a warm spring evening. Make sure we get our drink of the weekend. Sheriff, tell us what we got, even though you're not necessarily partaking because of your work obligations.
Scott Bobby sees all, but
That's right.
I'm following the lead of the greatest secret beverage, Tilly. We're double mellow tonight on this beautiful sunset evening, and we've got 3 gentlemen, so let's add some Jack. Gentleman Jack.
This was a sheriff's suggestion, even though
This was consumed. This was consumed everywhere, but in a FHP patrol car trying to get back to the plane that I almost missed. But there was a lot of this that went down, and it goes down smooth. But we'll get into the.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We got to shout out the FHP here later on.
all right, Pack, excited about the drink of the week?
No. But
A lot of chasers, though.
Well, let's go ahead. We do have a table full of the sheriff
we got Sprite.
beverages.
What's the orange Sprite? What is that?
Tropical mix.
Tropical mix.
That's what I'm getting down with.
Okay. Which one do you put? Do you mix your lean with?
That's it. I would say the tropical mix.
Oh no, I poured too much.
Might
Wanna
even
open
give
one
you
of
a fake
these?
accent. Man, Pack, look at you.
Orange Sprites. I didn't know they made orange Sprite. You want some of this orange?
Yeah, let me get some of the
Orange?
some of the lean
Orange,
Sprite.
as some people may say.
That's some people.
Well,
it.
first time I heard the pronunciation orange was in the 1st grade in Putnam County Elementary School. And I asked the darker skinned fellow who told me that.
Hey now.
Well, it's the description of what it
Okay.
looked like.
All right.
He hadn't even started drinking yet.
I know. I asked him, "What did you just say?" And he was like, "I need the orange crayon." And I was flabbergasted. Didn't know what he was talking about. And then he pointed to the orange crayon, and
Yeah,
that was my first introduction to orange.
I've been at it so
cheers.
long.
Cheers.
I
like
Cheers
it.
to orange.
Cheers.
Orange Sprite.
Cheers.
Yeah, we also had to get a lot of chasers because we got a well-behaved member of the panel here.
That orange is a little different.
John's just keeping the energy high,
Yeah, that orange is,
staying swole.
it's not bad. What do you think, Pack?
Yeah, not too bad actually. I can choke it down.
Okay, there you go.
Pause.
Sheriff is fresh back from another
Fresh back.
girls' sport tournament, softball, underhand that is.
Proud of the squad. A beer at every base. The South Florida lawman, hint, hint, for the old day job.
Yep.
One night job, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the team showed out, finished with a record of 9 wins, 2 losses, and so 2 losses means your ass eventually got sent home, but one team never lost.
So who are the 2 losses against?
The
Same
North-
team?
To the same team.
Your arch nemesis.
One in the winner's bracket final, which kicked us down to the loser's bracket, then had to fight back. We can get into all that, or we can just let it ride. But that's just
hit the high notes, baby.
That's
So what did you guys
get
place?
into bracketology, but we finished in second place
First loser.
to the North Florida Lawmen. Thank you, Ricky Bobby's dad. But we were the first loser to a team we normally beat the brakes off of.
That's
but
even worse.
They got us. Sometimes they get us, John. Sometimes we get them, and sometimes it rains.
So the team that you normally beat the brakes off won the whole thing?
They did not lose at all. They went 7-0 and said, "We'll see you."
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I did not get to attend the festivities because Frontier Airlines waits for no man or children
Ooh, where was the tournament?
or deputies.
That's like flying Spirit, man.
Hey, when you're not footing the bill, you got to be frugal, Pack.
It's literally the frontier of airlines.
Yeah.
It's a Wild West.
It is.
I got a bag charge on the way down there for $99, and I could feel the slime coming off of the hands that were taking it. And then the same bag received no bag charge on the way back. But
You never know,
You
man.
never know.
I did not get to stay for the medals and the festivities and all that, but shout out to North Florida Lawmen, they took it home. If you don't lose,
Yeah.
tough to
What
beat.
can you say? I do want to ask you, because the Big Brain put out on the socials, there was a little rough flight down there, and you
Yeah.
had two of the deputies, the male deputies, with you. They didn't handle it so well.
Only got 2 male deputies, as you said, so we got an eldest and a youngest.
Yep.
And for all the people that are struggling with that, only 2. One has to be older than the other, but the older one thought he was going to die, but he handled stress a little
And
better.
this was due to turbulence?
Just a little white in the face, yes. I think
Okay.
we caught 6 a.m. flight out of Atlanta, landed in, and I'm still alive, I think, so it landed in Orlando at 7:30ish. But yeah, all the weather that was in West Georgia, Fulton County area, I think we caught that on the way, and then there was some weather in Florida, so we were bouncing around.
So the eldest thought it was over with. He lived a good 9 years, and it was done.
I was trying to keep my game face on, just to
But you had questions too, huh?
I was bouncing around with them. I got both of them by almost 200 pounds, so I was maybe bouncing more, but yeah, I held on to the seat in front of me, which I think is when my poker face started going, it got real bad, especially for the eldest. But yeah, the youngest had a smooth first flight last year. This one was not smooth. He turned green, and then his Uncrustable sandwich was in our snack bag.
He puked on the plane.
Man, oh man.
And I knew it was coming.
So he made it into a bag.
2 coughs, and when the coughs were coming, I knew. And then, yeah, to your point, his
Well, that's impressive. You got into a bag. I just
post
imagine.
face.
I just imagined tornado on the plane throwing up. It was like on the ceiling. It was in the carpet.
Oh.
It was everywhere.
And it's Frontier,
Yeah.
they just let it dry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
That's
well, good point, Pat. But yeah, Knox had already flown one time last year to Wellington, Florida, so Palm Beach area, and then back. Those flights were smooth as butter. So this was kind of the first. This could happen if you're going through a bunch of clouds or whatever.
Yeah.
But, he thought the pilot was
doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
huh?
I know we got some people that are going to be audio only, but he thought the joysticks were.
Yeah.
Maybe they were bumping
They were
on the gin and juice up
Trying to
front.
get those rings like on the
Soul
video.
plane? We all soul plane?
It looks dry. I mean, it looks wet, but it is dry. A little Jerry curl there for you. But I got some soul plane, some
So this is
Deion Sanders statements float through my
so
head.
this is a true story. This is true. I'm not making this up. I just assume I'm going to die every time I get on a plane.
You and me both.
It's against God's.
Really? Dude.
J
man.
Valley. Come on now.
So
it's
listen,
against
never.
God. It's against God's gravity rules. You're trying to break these rules.
There's
and fly
laws
like-
of gravity. As long as you abide by them, you're all right.
I don't think we're abiding by 'em.
So here's my problem with it. Then you wouldn't be able to fly. Then you wouldn't be able to fly. So here's my problem with it. I have seen humans
Yeah.
and how much
Good
they
point.
underperform at
Already
their
know where
professions
you're going.
sometimes
Correct.
and most jobs. And I'm like, we are counting on too many people to not have a bad day at work. From the pilots to the mechanics
And
to
now all these planes are coming of age and falling apart.
to the person who didn't latch the door all the way. I mean, you are counting on way too many people, and I'm scared to death every time. But
I will fly.
you have to. You know what I mean?
I just assume it's going to be the end. So
On the
I
way.
have everything in order.
A John Madden bus.
If I had somebody to drive me everywhere and I could afford the time, I would not fly.
Yeah.
But like I'm going down to Miami next weekend to see the Braves play the Marlins, and obviously if I drove, I would just be driving the entire time. So we're flying. I'm not against flying. I just think it's unnatural. And
Actually, did you hear about that whole Boeing controversy?
Yes. Yes.
go ahead, Jay Valley, tell us.
Oh, he's diving into it.
The-
Culture wars.
The guy who would work for him for 30 years went to appear before Congress to testify about how all the short changes they were taking and how the employees wouldn't even fly their own planes.
Got a Clinton suicide.
And
I was just
he
gonna say.
magically offed himself.
Jeffrey
the day
Epstein
before.
himself.
Yeah. He just
Shot himself 8 times in the
Got
head.
that whole extension cord out.
Oh, this didn't
In
work
the back of the head.
Yeah.
Well, the federal government does control. I understand the airlines are privatized, but obviously Uncle Sam's got his hands in all of it.
Yep.
But
Yeah, well, how good of a job is Uncle Sam doing too?
Ooh, simmer down there,
That's
Swole
to
LaValley.
your point. Cue the soundtrack. The cruise missile will be turning that up. But yeah, I was obviously sober going down there because we left Athens at like 2-ish.
Right.
And got. Obviously, I'm not the most punctual person on the planet. Swole LaValley knows that.
Everybody knows that.
But I'm aware the plane's not going to wait for me as much as I would like it to. So if the 18-year-old car I have could get through the tornado to get to the airport, I figured we were all right.
Yeah.
I was sober on the plane ride down there, not so much on the one home, but we got everywhere we needed to be.
In one piece.
But I do like to take a double shot of something like the drink of the week on a plane just to kind of
calm the nerves.
Because I am with Pack. There's a lot of faulty humans that have to be right.
The ground doesn't hurt as bad.
That's right.
Hit it. What does Ron White say? Hit something hard. I don't want to limp away.
There you go. That's right. And over the weekend, PackMan, another 5K, another personal record.
Another 5K in the books. 25-22 was this one.
That's amazing. He's finally tapped into the tendons.
Yeah, still.
Some Ethiopian blood on 23 and
Still
me.
got a ways to go. I should pull my 23 and me
That's
up
it.
for us.
Buccal swab.
Yeah.
Oh, have you done it?
I've done it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Hey, the times are all I need to know.
Yeah.
No, I don't need to see the paper. I believe it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, but yeah, I was happy with it. And
Was that at the Sandy Creek?
Yep.
With the
Sandy Creek?
Yeah, with the steam coming off the waters,
It was a pretty run. It was cold.
I wanted to be there.
It was cold. You'll be there for Twilight, right?
I'll be there tomorrow too.
Was that 3.2?
3.1.
3.1.
Sandy, I'm sorry, you took a beautiful picture of Lake Chapman, which is in Sandy Creek Park.
No, it's just impressive because PackMan and I started training with the goal of being under 27. And obviously, look at him now.
Where you at? On the way?
Full transparency here, because we're all about honesty. I'm a little bit behind PackMan, but I'm under 26.
That's where
nice.
he wants to be.
Nice.
I think the last. So
It's close. I've run with both of them for a short time, and then they left
I was
me.
about to say, I'd like to see you run a 5K, my guy.
He's right. Hey, come on now. You're running the one on.
John loves to throw shade to the sheriffs and deputies of Winterville. I did finish in about
he did.
36.
That's right.
So I was shooting for a 10-minute mile time and missed it. But I shot out of the gates with all the co-hosts and the brain children of this podcast, and then they left me. But
It's all right. You finished. That's all that matters.
The Sleezy and the Pack are probably within a minute of each other.
Oh, closer
Oh,
than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And just to announce to everybody for self-accountability, PackMan and I are gearing up with Mama Sleeves for a half marathon in Jekyll Island in October. It's official.
Now it's official. So I was holding off on mentioning it on the podcast so I could try to weasel my way out of it, but now the people know.
Yep. And We're doing it.
I'm making it to twilight with my right knee bursitis, or whatever big brain diagnosed me with. All the joints are wrong and squeaky and broken, but I'll make it to twilight and then we'll go from there.
Hey, that's fine. You're doing it.
But I like the 5Ks.
I enjoy running them too. Brady's joining us for Twilight. He's going to run the 5K.
All deputies are doing another fun run.
Nice.
So we got a little mojo going.
There we
Don't
go.
leave me out of the 10Ks for a moment. We'll get there. And then that'll
one
probably
step at a time.
Yep. And then
That's all
my
good.
Lou Gehrig retirement speech might be after that.
Yeah. Well, glad to be here after a spring break. You know, I do want to thank everybody who said they missed us last week. It made me feel a little special.
Who said that?
A lot of people.
Really?
Well, I mean a lot. Like three
or more? us three?
Several people said they were missing their weekly episode, so I appreciate those who said that because it makes me happy.
Warm and
Like
fuzzy inside.
That's right. It makes me feel good. And we got Jay Valley here. We're talking about running and all that. I really want to ask you. So I think I've mentioned on the show before, one of my biggest fears you experienced, about 7 months ago, 6 months ago?
About 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
You've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest fears. And then it was right around that time
Oh, you should fear it.
that it was happening. And then it happened to Swole LaValley. He popped his Achilles tendon.
Absolutely.
And it, just looking at you makes me queasy.
Uh,
Maybe more than one reason, I don't know. But
not fun. Not fun at all.
so people don't know the story. Can you tell the story of what happened? Because it's concerning. It's alarming.
Devastating. No, just doing some working out, man, and then finish up the workout with some sprinter step-up box jumps. And
for those listening, Swole LaValley is Swole LaValley for a reason. He's in great shape.
That's it.
how about that, Swole? I'm kind of thin, but you know.
Great shape. Go ahead, sorry.
But just doing some box jumps, sprinter step-up style, and after about the third set, felt like somebody literally kicked me in the back of the legs, and so I looked back, and there was no one behind me. And then I felt the pain down in my heel, reached down, and touched pure jello.
Oh, God.
So I
That made
said,
you sick, right?
I hit the ground, and I realized, you know what? I just tore my Achilles. So thankfully there was somebody there to give me a little ice pack. I was able to hobble my way to my car, get home, get it elevated, get it iced, and got some crutches brought
You were able to drive with it?
Yeah.
I guess you used your other foot.
Yeah.
Use the right
I
Achilles?
usually use the right foot, not the left.
Which one did you tear? I thought you tore your left.
Left. So
I was thinking the same.
Yeah, I thought he tore it.
yeah, but it's extremely loud. The other guy in the gym had music playing really loud. He just heard it. He was like, pow, looked over. Like he thought I had slipped on a rubber mat or something just to look over. It was
That's consistent,
quite the
though.
experience.
Yeah.
But that is, it's actually accurate. When I looked it up before or afterwards, excuse me, everybody described the sensation as someone kicking you. And usually what happens is you look back because it is a very weird sensation. It is probably the most accurate one. Basically feeling like somebody just kicked you. So, yeah, it's been quite the ordeal, to say the least.
Your face is a precipice.
There are certain things in life that
You don't want to experience it.
I don't have a soft stomach, but that is.
Yeah, I agree. And it's been happening to
It's been wild. Because
Yeah.
in the NFL, there was like a rash. And I know it's happened before.
Do you
But
think it has to do with the milk?
Too little of milk.
lack of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, our ayahuasca friend,
Yeah.
who was obviously
So
is a media sensation, just like
And
Swole.
now Falcons quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Yep, correct.
What's his name from the 49ers?
Yeah, the guy who just walked on the field.
Dre
Yeah,
Greenlaw.
Greenlaw. That was it was wild to see
Yeah.
that. Like he
Yeah.
was just his
Just
was a lot
walk,
less.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he looked behind him though too.
Yeah. It's a very, very weird sensation.
I don't know what Dre
So-
is short for, but we should give his government name its due.
Why not? So you had surgery, what, a week, 2 weeks after, a couple weeks after?
No, that was another annoying point. It probably took at least 2.5 weeks, which was incredibly frustrating. I was hoping to get that done a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had surgery September 1st.
Yeah, and you showed me a picture of it, like a shark bite on your, like the back of your leg, heel area, like where the stitches were. That was a gnarly incision.
Yeah, it goes from the top of the heel to like halfway up my calf muscle.
So you tore it on what date and had surgery on what date?
August 18th, I think.
Oh, so you were sitting around for a minute.
Yeah, it was very frustrating. Like, oh, okay, we'll just get to it when we can, is what it felt like.
Yeah.
But according to the doctor, you can wait several, I don't know, a month or two.
Ain't gonna get any more torn, I guess, right? I mean,
No,
not,
yeah.
And you had a full
But
tear.
actually, if you look into it, people actually, you can repair and heal non-surgically. So that is an option. So
Really?
so basically, if you, like, this is your leg and you put your foot forward, that's called a plantar flexion. So if you put your foot in plantar flexion and put it in a boot and just leave it there, it will start to heal.
Really?
but is that recovery way longer than just getting it surgically repaired, or do you know?
It's
Like, what would be
debatable.
the benefit of not getting surgery, I guess? Like, why would somebody choose to do that?
I guess because you don't really necessarily need it. But I guess that's debatable. I don't think nearly as many people do the non-surgical option. I sure wasn't. So I just noticed that in doing a bunch of research after the injury. So, but yes, it can. So in other words, you know, if you left it sitting that long and you didn't do anything at all, then maybe it would start to somewhat heal back together elongated. And if it heals back together elongated, then you're done. You've got no tension in it and no ability to
So
jump
what,
on.
I know you're not a Achilles tendon historian, but like on Little House in the Prairie, when Papa John, or whatever his name was, if he tore his Achilles, what did they do back then? They weren't operating on that. He just walked around. He was a gimp.
Man, you
Probably.
don't really, yeah.
Yeah.
Truthfully, in years past, I mean, there's,
Or maybe they didn't live long enough to tear their Achilles back then.
maybe that was a death sentence back then.
Mm.
Yeah.
Took you out back and said,
Old Yeller, you
Old Yeller style. Yeah.
Keandre, that's where the Dre comes from.
Okay. Keandre.
Keandre Jaquan Greenlaw. We just want to shout him out.
Shout him out.
Not just a nickname.
So we're about 7 months removed from surgery.
7 months.
And how long would you say you have till you're back to where you were?
So, in talking, I've worked with a couple physical therapists. So the second one, there's not a lot of people who've done a bunch of physical therapy work on people with Achilles, unfortunately. So, but this one's done, I don't know, at least 10, and his timeline was about 6 months. You can do most lighter things, and you'll kind of feel it. It probably takes a year to do pretty much everything, but you'll not be quite at full strength.
Yeah.
But you'll be functional with most things. And then he said it probably takes a year and a half to get completely back to where you were.
That is a massive amount of time.
It is.
When in Rome.
Well, it's,
Pack is enjoying the gentleman.
It is smooth. It is
Don't tear
smooth.
your Achilles.
No, that's a massive amount of time for an injury to get back to where. I don't know. To me, it's like the worst one.
no, it absolutely is.
So
I mean,
you had in college. Maybe the timeline. Give me the timeline. You had a knee injury
So in college, I tore my ACL and my meniscus
at the same time.
at the same time.
That's another one I don't.
Football injury. Football
An
injury.
old football injury. So
Old football at the University of Georgia.
at the University of Georgia.
Oh, we might get into that. Go ahead.
So
Ain't no mic. Ain't no mic. We're getting into that, but we'll carry on.
Carry on. All right, here
All right.
we go. So yeah, I did that. So they repaired that and also repaired the meniscus. So they had to sew that up. So that kind of delayed a little bit of the ACL because the meniscus is the cartilage in between the thigh bone and like the shin bone where it meets. And so it's what the cushioning is. So they had to go in and sew it up. So while it's healing, you cannot put any weight on it. So there's an entire month where I could not put an ounce of weight on that foot. So that kind of obviously put me a little bit like a month behind. So, and just the muscle atrophy in just that short period of time is unbelievable. So anyway.
How long was that recovery then? That's what I was getting at. The knee versus
I would
the recovery time and then the,
I would say,
I guess, rehab for that. Which one's worse?
oh, the Achilles is way worse.
Oh.
It's not even close.
You just
The ACL, I mean,
confirming my fears.
yeah, I mean, you got to think all your entire weight, everything begins or is resting on that Achilles. like you can kind of compensate with the knee a little bit. But with that Achilles, there's no way. You push off, you do anything, it's there. It's bearing the brunt of everything. It's part of the explosion and running, jumping, everything else. But
pause.
Let Craig get a drink.
Just a Sprite.
Got Bobby, just a Sprite. So how long was the recovery time for the knee?
I was mostly, I mean, not mostly back, but somewhat functional about 6-7 months. And then I would say probably
That's what I was just wanting, like
8 months to a
comparison.
year. I think part of it is mentally being able to engage.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
you also were much younger, and maybe the surgery wasn't, you know, it's been, what, 20 years ago?
Don't worry, you're aging the man, man. All right.
I'm an old man, dude.
Hey, we're all old here.
So when you were out with your football injury at the University of Georgia,
You like to continually mention.
did you? So you weren't doing football activity, obviously. Oh, you were. So did you still have a tutor going to class for you during that time, or
Getting his meals delivered to the classroom.
Now I hobbled my way to class. I was dedicated.
man, you ain't going to no class. You did not go to. They give you a Dodge Charger.
I crushed my way into class. I sat at the front row.
Stop.
The best learner took the most notes.
You,
What's the name of the man that was carrying the money bag around for the boys there, Johnny Boy?
So just to clear everybody up, Jay Valley was a player for the University of Georgia.
That's right.
You should be proud of it. We give you a hard time, but you
I
worked
should
hard.
be very proud.
Yeah, you were actually on the team.
Played.
Yeah.
Nobody, I'm not discounting that.
No,
I'm saying he didn't go to class.
I'm just setting the stage. Setting the stage for the listeners.
Let's
That's
go
all.
ahead and dispel this myth.
Oh, here we go.
Dispel this
And this
myth.
was during the Mark Rick years.
This was during the Mark Rick
He
period.
went to class and now he spontaneously combusts when he says this. We know the truth. Like my accent.
That fake accent. No, they actually used to have people come to check class. Make sure you were there. I'm sure they still do.
I don't know about nowadays, but you're saying when you were there,
Yeah, you had to go to class.
had to.
Had to. Or else you'd be running in the morning.
With your tutor or without your tutor?
As long as you went.
I assume there is a minimum requirement even still, but
Yeah.
I'm sure as the athletes get more power, which I don't see them ever losing the power they're getting, it's only going to become more as far as monetary, and we were joking about the cars and stuff like that. And obviously some of this stuff was going on beforehand, but now it's in the light of the day, so to speak. But yeah, I assume they still have to go to class
Yeah, you gotta go to class.
to be academically eligible to play, but I don't know what that standard is. Well, you think they got like a stand-in and they just Skype them in or something? What are they doing?
He's got note takers.
There was an Asian kid going, I'm John LaValley. I'm John.
Yeah, saying I'm Jordan Davis.
Yep.
Some 100-pound dude.
You find me a Jordan Davis stand-in.
Yeah, the Asian guy. They don't care.
Yeah.
That's it.
Teachers don't want to lose their job.
Yeah. So this was way before NIL. Do you think your college experience would have been different if you were versus then versus now with NIL?
Well, and everything that's different about.
Well, it's a totally different world. Probably what 20 years ago,
Yeah.
but it's totally night and day. I would imagine in your eyes.
Yeah,
what you're seeing now.
I'm not a huge fan of the NIL, man. I think it's, and then, well, that combined with the transfer
You
portal.
like your dirty money.
Bag.
The under the table money.
That's right.
Okay, I hear you. All right.
Like to keep everything looking pristine.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just not a huge fan of the NIL and the transfer portal. I think it's kind of undermined college football a little bit. The culture, the tradition, and it's, you know, every man for himself, and I don't know, just I'm not a huge fan. I'm okay with there being some sort of compensation, but I think it needs to be capped and done in such a way.
So you were there, like you played with NFL players.
Yes.
Okay, so those guys obviously had another level of talent. Do you think it would have made life easier for them with NIL? I guess what I'm getting at is, like, they knew they were going to have a contract one day. Like, they were just that level.
Right.
So it probably made it easier to maybe be susceptible to, you know, we had AJ Green, you had Todd Gurley, sold jersey, you know, whether you agree with the rule or not, they broke the rules, sold personal jerseys, made money.
Yeah.
Keith Marshall was there?
Yeah.
he was a little bit after me.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, from what you saw, would it have made life easier for those players because they knew they were going to have a paycheck? And it was hard to forego money in the meantime?
Well, I mean, it definitely would have made things easier.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have been compensated out in the open and not have to really.
So, do you think it would have made things different for players in your position necessarily weren't stars or starters? Do you think
Yeah,
it would change
probably
life?
because some of the, some guys had to either take some loans or do whatever to do whatever, and so yeah, they probably could have been at least compensated to take care of rent and basic necessities, so that way it made their life easier as well.
Yeah.
So, and then some of them, some of the guys there, whose families maybe couldn't afford it, that had a little bit of time to try and get one, it would have made their lives a lot easier, taking a lot of stress off their families too. So
Yeah. Because, did you have time to have a part-time job?
no.
And that was because
the only time you really maybe
During class.
I've been getting
I could have had a side job, just, selling all those notes I took. I could have been the tutor.
I've got Sleezy's chicken, Cajun chicken biscuit.
Listen, man, $20 an hour, I'll put you making all A's.
No, and just to expand on that a little bit, is that because of practice, all the requirements that you have
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
team?
you have to go to class, and then, during the season, dude, it's, you basically.
I'm curious. I've never actually heard from somebody who had what does a day during the season look like, a non-game day?
Well, you go to class in the morning, early afternoon. Go to class.
Yeah.
Go to class. Go to class. Go to class.
Go to class.
Go to class. Stay in school, kids. Stay in school.
Hypothetically,
You always got to fall back on that education. Nothing's guaranteed to you.
I'll play along. You go to
Make
class.
sure you're teaching your kids. Telling your youngins.
We teach the deputies education
They-
first,
that's
but I
right.
don't know if they'll ever
They can't take that away from you.
They might not be knocking heads at the
Can't take it
University of
away.
Georgia, though.
All right, so you got class.
Then, after, probably early afternoon, maybe 3, 4-ish, you'll go in, you're going to watch film. So every practice, every rep is filmed. So prior to that, you'll go over probably the prior day's practice, what you did well, what needs to be improved. You may, depending on if you'll go over, film from the opposing team, etc. After you have your film, you'll go out and practice, a couple hours. So by that time, it's past 7:30 or so. So, go home, get that homework done, get that studying done.
That's it.
Get ready for the next day, eat.
Of
You have
class,
you have workouts in the morning too?
So during the season, usually you may have to be required to go a couple times during the week.
Mm-hmm.
But the NCAA limits how much time you can do certain things, so
Right.
they don't have unlimited time to do whatever, because some of the time you gotta go to class.
If I'm not mistaken, Swole, the strength and condition, to piggyback on your nickname, it seems like even in today's world, obviously the head coach is the one that has the final say. He's the CEO, so to speak. But the strength and conditioning coach, I think, has the most freedom to be around the players. And so a lot of stuff gets funneled through him or her. I think there are some female head assistant or whatever. There's female strength and conditioning coaches, and obviously they have their own strength and conditioning staff. But I think they get to spend all year round with the players.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. They do get to spend the most amount of time. I mean, once the season's done, you get into off-season workouts leading up to spring ball, and then after spring ball you have that short, maybe a little bit of a break. I mean, you can come in and work out, but then there's summer workouts that you got to come back and do, and you're doing that all summer. And then obviously, during the fall, even during the season, you're still working out some. So yeah, they probably see them more than anybody. I mean, the position coaches will see you during the fall, during spring ball, but then during the off season, they got to do recruiting, they got to do all the other stuff. So
how much interaction does a position player have with a head coach? Like Mark Rick, how much interaction did y'all have with him?
I mean, during the season, you see him all the time. I mean, you'll speak.
Well,
But-
yeah, I mean, I'm not getting at it in a bad way. I'm just saying I know he's got a lot of other responsibilities. So you're more in tune with your position coach, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, he's walking around whatever he wants to prioritize. You know, he may be over there, but he'll be watching the practice just like everything else. So during the team portions, he'll be monitoring that. He wants to say something, he will. But I mean, he's around. So it's not like you said, it's not nearly as much as your position coach, but it's not like you don't ever see the guy or he's like inaccessible.
Okay.
I might have already asked this question in the secret squirrel chambers, but if Swole was out with Mark Rick was in the downstairs of this studio and Swole walked downstairs first, would he recognize you?
I don't know. I mean, he's had hundreds or probably
That's
he's
a
got
good
Florida
point.
State since '94, and
Yeah. Thousands of players.
Yeah, I mean, if you were one of his more high-profile players, I'm sure
Right.
you would.
Would it be like a stank eye, like I know that I should know you type deal? That's what I figured you were going to say.
I mean, probably. I don't know.
I do that with pretty much everybody, so I'm not picking on Mark Rick or you. I'm just curious, because you are very, you don't lack for self-esteem or confidence, but you are, you keep that pretty close to the vest as far as playing and actually being on the field for the Dogs. I was impressed, but I was
it's a
never
great accomplishment, it really is.
I was never a football
And
guy.
it's something for us to give you a hard time about. So we enjoy it.
There's everything's something to give us a hard time.
That's it.
Doesn't matter what it is.
So you were there, I mean, during those years, it was very successful years for Mark Rick.
Yeah.
What were the years?
03, 04, and 05. 05 is when I tore my ACL, and that pretty much put me out for that.
Yeah.
Pretty much the majority of that year.
So, because you went to bowl games, and y'all get presents.
We did.
And what's the coolest present that you got? No, I just want to know what the coolest present you got. Because they get like, weird stuff sometimes, and they get cool stuff.
I think when we got iPods when they first came out.
You can say present like he's a toddler.
It's a gift.
He got a gift bag.
Yeah, that's a synonym for a gift.
You can't call it a payment.
Yeah.
You can't call it a payment, so you have to call it a gift.
Well,
or
but
a prize.
Yeah, he won the prize.
In
It's
Swole's
called a bowl gift.
Yeah.
Well, in Swole's defense, he got a gift bag because he fulfilled, I'm sure, several obligations, and those obligations may be a bowling game, but they're still the bowls are still getting something out of the players, even in today's day and age, that they're showing up for a meet and greet or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you show up for different things. They
all
do
the
different
What bowls did you play in? The Sugar Bowl?
The last one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was during Katrina, so they had it in Atlanta.
Okay,
And
the Georgia Dome.
I was there.
Mhm.
Georgia Dome, Sugar Bowl.
You were
win.
there.
McAfee won the game for West Virginia.
Yeah. Well,
Really?
You know? You want to talk
still
about
there.
that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it did.
Mhm.
It did.
You were on the field too, Sleezy?
Oh no, I was.
You were in the Heineken
He was
booth.
sleazed.
Yeah, I was sleazed in the stands.
He was slizzard.
Yep.
Sleaze got slizzard.
The dad jokes. Wow, that my tongue's sticking
No, I
out
just
on.
obviously it stuck out because that was the only Sugar Bowl to be played in Atlanta. And anyways,
Was there a SEC championship in 2005?
Yes.
Yes,
LSU.
Yeah.
That didn't go too great either.
Oh yeah, we won that one.
We blew them.
Or John won that one.
I didn't win it.
Swole LaValley did.
Yeah, he was in. You were on crutches.
No, I was there. I was in uniform.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
But you had hurt your knee that year.
Yeah, I was finishing up
Yeah.
I got you.
rehab and.
Oh, I mean,
Hey, if you get hurt, you get hurt.
that's right.
You still got your rings?
Yeah, where are the presents in the ring?
You got your Sugar Bowl rings?
I do somewhere. I got all the
How do you not
rings.
know where it is?
Man, you should have wore it.
Yeah.
I came in here wearing it.
Bling blinging it.
I'd wear it at Kroger.
He's very unassuming on this stuff. I haven't yet, at our place of employment, been there 6 years. This man has yet to tell me, hey, I played for such and such. I just heard it through the grapevine.
He's a better man than me. You wouldn't be able to tell me nothing.
That's it.
I'd have every ring I had would be on my hand.
Throwing at that old Jerry when you got mad at him.
Yeah. What you mean work this game? I am this game.
I'm bigger than the game.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
All these guys are pretty humble. Don't let them fool you.
Not me. No, that's really cool. I don't know. It's interesting to hear that perspective because not every day you get to talk to somebody from the sideline.
Running back number 1 might not be too humble, right? Well, he might be very humble.
Talking about ETN?
I am talking about the younger brother, ETN.
Yeah. Who was, I can't remember exactly everybody who you played with. I'm not going to name them necessarily. Is there somebody that you played with that you just were like amazed at their athletic ability, whether they were an NFL guy or not?
I played with a lot of legit studs. Thomas Davis.
Yeah, I've heard.
David Pollock, Greg Blue. Probably the best was the linebacker. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Odell Thurman.
Odell Thurman. He was kind of crazy.
No, he's probably the most talented football player I've ever played with.
I agree. I'm just saying he's kind of a loose cannon.
He got crazy when he got all that money.
Yeah. Oh, like a mental health consumer.
No, just wild.
I got you.
Yeah.
He was probably a Ray Lewis level player. So he was the defensive rookie of the year at middle linebacker for the Cincinnati Bengals coming out.
Okay.
So tremendously talented, super strong, explosive, fast, very good instincts. Just super talented player. But like I said, I played with David Green, Fred Gibson, Reggie Brown, Damian Gary, Thomas Brown. All those guys were super talented and made it to one level or another in the NFL.
Yeah, several of those guys went to the Bengals because Pollock ended up there too.
Right.
Yep.
Do y'all ever get together? Do y'all ever have like alumni?
No, I don't. There's no.
I guess if you won a natty, there would be. That's the only thing I can think of.
Natty, so I don't know.
Or if you won the Sugar Bowl.
Was there one of those offensive guys that you dreaded tackling?
I played offense, so I wasn't going to be playing.
My stat guy got my notes wrong.
That's it. I didn't get no notes wrong. You're on your
Was there a
own
defensive guy then that you dreaded getting tackled by?
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to get hit by. I mean, I did, but I've seen Greg Blue knock people out.
Yeah.
He was a hitter. Like I said, Odell Thurman was a hitter. Thomas Davis was a hitter. We had a lot of linebackers that were. I mean, it's just big, fast, physical guys. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're going to get hit. You're going to get laid out. I mean, you got to give and get. It's just the way it goes.
Sounds terrible.
You got to give and get. We love reciprocity on this show.
That's right.
Greg Blue.
Blue.
Blue. Okay, stat guy is.
He would probably be suspended in today's football. He was a high hitter, from what I remember.
Oh yeah, dude. But
he would. I mean, not a head hunter, but he would hit.
Oh, he's a head hunter.
He would hit high. I remember.
But he's also a big, tall dude. It's not like he's gonna be going low.
Right.
I mean.
Let's check with the stat guy here, but he is out of Atlanta where the players play. Benjamin Banneker High School. And everybody's clear that he played with Big John at UGA.
That's correct.
Hold on, I got you his height and weight here. Yeah, 6'2", 216.
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah, secondary, that is big.
He's a safety, so that's pretty. He's
picking up some speed too.
Yeah.
Was he free safety or strong safety? Or
say what?
Was he free safety, strong safety, or do a little both? I don't even know what system y'all ran.
But no, I mean I think he was maybe strong.
Gotcha. So good in the run.
Yeah, he was super good in the run. I think Thomas Davis played a little free. Then he went to the league, Pro Bowler.
They made him a linebacker.
There were a lot of good players back then.
Yeah.
You got in definitely the good years of Rick's tenure here.
Yeah, he went when he went to the Panthers. He was correct. To give you an idea of his level of athleticism, he was given the task of shadowing Mike Vick as a linebacker, which says a lot.
It does.
Yeah, I would say John's years and then the early 2010s was pretty sharp.
Yeah.
But yeah, this other than now, Swole had it licked.
Yep, that's right.
The family from the Little House on the Prairie, just to circle back, that Sleezy's trying to kill, is the Ingalls.
Yeah, the Ingalls.
So not spelled like the store. Ingalls, and then obviously Charles was the patriarch.
Well, Charles had tore his Achilles back then.
It's a death sentence.
Played by
the whole family would have died.
That guy Patrick, not Patrick.
No, he was a heartthrob like Patrick Swayze. That's what you're thinking. Michael Landon.
There you go.
Which is where the eldest deputy's name came from.
He turned out to be gay, I think.
No, definitely not gay.
Alright, look it up.
Michael Landon is definitely not gay.
Look it up.
Because he was also little Joe Cartwright.
Look it up.
I don't need to look it up. My son is named after him. But I will look it up.
Oh, it just got real. It just got real.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Not gay. Definitely not gay. He was...
You might have to fact check this one.
There was another actor back then.
Married to 3 different women, but not gay.
Not gay. Not gay.
Which, I don't know. Maybe that's why he ended it with all 3 of them. Who knows?
No, I must have the old star confused. My bad.
He died very young, so that's why I feel safe in saying he liked the women's.
And your son's named after him, so.
Yeah. Hey, I believe in
subject.
everyone's civil liberties. But yeah, I'm not naming any of my offspring after the Alphabet Mafia.
All right.
I don't know. The Alphabet Mafia is expanding quickly.
Yeah, they are. They may just kidnap my kids at some point.
Who knows? Anyways.
Off the rails with the Ingalls family.
Before we get too late in the episode, I do need to go back to some previous episodes and give some shout outs because I've been over spring break reflecting as I was relaxing in the sunshine. I realized that I had skipped over some things. So here we go.
Okay.
Crosby was on a couple episodes ago.
Yep,
Flag
Frenchy
football.
Blues.
Yep, Frenchy Blues. With his flag football team. Need to give them a shout out. They won the championship.
All right.
Asterisk. Not very diverse league, but they won the championship.
They actually are going to class.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
They won the championship, so shout out to Crosby.
Okay, good job.
Got a very nice trophy, and he is actually gearing up for season number 2,
What's this
spring
year like?
season. Crosby is the coach. His son was one of the players. It was a 7-on-7 flag football.
Man, that's gotten huge.
Yes, Under Armour sponsored league. Go back and listen to the Frenchy Blues episode, get you all the details.
I believe his son is the quarterback because we gave him, he caught some hell on that just because we want to make sure there was no nepotism going on.
Yeah, so he's coaching again, so good luck to you in spring season, but congratulations on your championship. I'm pretty sure your appearance fueled the run to the championship. So you're welcome.
He's a high energy guy, Crosby.
Yeah, so you're welcome for your boost. And as I started reflecting on this, I started to notice a theme with our guest. They just, once they had their appearance, they seemed to just catapult to the next level in life.
All right.
So, you're welcome, everybody who's been on the show.
That's it.
The King, Hunter B, landed a new job, going to be moving down south to Miami. So congratulations to him. He made like a reference to some big things coming up in life, and they weren't finalized till he came on the show. So congratulations.
The Queen going with him is the question.
The Queen is going with him. Boss Erica is going down.
Yeah, she's going down. Good for him. Yeah. He's not been married long.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
So congratulations.
Yeah, another Mile High. We'll have to call him the Mile High King, won't we?
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I kept it in code, Sleezy.
The other half of the Granite City Gamblers, Ace, has moved into his new mansion that he was working on, built by himself.
I know he was constructing something.
He's
always constructing something.
I'm truly impressed with it because he
I haven't seen any
contracted.
pictures.
You got to follow the
Trotter home build on.
Yeah, there you go. It's private. They can
No,
deny it.
he said he was good with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the
So
Trotter
we need
home
to put him
build.
on blast.
Trotter home build
on the ground.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so congratulations to him. And then I need to call myself out, but I didn't have all the facts. The ACC PD Enforcers co-ed softball team, I was asked to give an over and under on it several episodes ago by CNN, Computer Nerd Nick.
He didn't give you all the info.
I guessed we were going to win 2 games, but I was not. We're undefeated. We're like 5-0, something like that. I don't know. We're undefeated.
You playing this year?
Undefeated.
I am.
Nice.
We're undefeated.
Men's team is also undefeated.
And so I hear it every week from Demanda and CNN how I didn't believe in the team. I didn't think they were going to win any games.
They didn't.
Amanda
Last
needs no
year they
excuse.
won no games.
Give you a hard time.
So to be,
I also got you.
so I was not given the info that we were dropping down to the C League.
B League. We
We're
got an
C.
A and B League.
I thought it was C.
Oh, so y'all dropped the
Yes,
level
we
of
dropped
competition?
down a level.
I don't
so-
think they have enough
They
teams.
went
to have a
winless
C.
last season. They won 0 games.
Which
so
is
they had
why
So they went
I
down?
thought
Yeah.
I thought we are going to get
Went
2
down.
wins
Oh.
because we went winless last season, but I did not know we were dropping down a league.
So how many levels of play are there?
Depends on the amount of teams, I guess.
Apparently, there's some discrepancy here. There's either 2 or 3. We're in the bottom league, but we are dominating.
The way it was explained to me by the skipper from the Clinton News Network, CNN, they only had enough co-ed teams for 1 league, I guess you could say, with no divisions.
Okay.
Now they have enough, and in the interest of parity, they're divvying it up to 2, which is the same thing they did last year with the men, or as I like to say, the men's.
There you go. Well,
The mans in them.
again, CNN came on the show, and now his team is
He was
straight
smirking,
to the
and now
top.
I know why.
Straight to the top. So.
He was a true bookie on that one because
Yeah.
he did not give you all the information that he was privy to.
But I hear about it every week, so I just want to put it out there. I was wrong, but not really. And congratulations, CNN, for
I
coming
don't
on
want
the show.
Swole to get misled.
And-
I think we still would have won
Yeah.
potentially at least 2 in the upper division. It just would have been a lot harder.
And CNN wanted Florida State out of the ACC, and now they filed a lawsuit since he's been on the show.
They're going. They're going.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. Congratulations, CNN. Another boost from
Well,
Did You Hear
Did you
Me?
hear me?
The reality check.
In the Big Ten?
It's a separate conversation.
Well, are you big on Oregon, Swole, or where you going with that? Washington, I guess. I'm
Am I
interested to see
big? Am I-
Washington.
Am I big on Oregon? What do you mean?
I don't know why you're saying that the Big Ten would be a reality check. I would have liked to seen those schools go to the greatest conference, the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ACC is fairly weak.
But you're saying the Big Ten is a step up. Because
Yeah.
to me, the Big Ten's a 2-school conference up until this year. Ohio State,
Well,
Michigan.
it has been,
What
yeah.
what is the ACC?
I guess a 2-team conference with the 2 teams that are leaving.
Yeah, that really,
That's a fair point.
that really
Yep.
weren't. I mean, Clemson wasn't great, and Florida State played a lot of.
They've had some down years recently.
Yeah,
Well, Dabo's
I mean, in the
not
past
using.
they've been really good, but
Yeah, in the I guess 2016, 2018, they won it all those years. They were really good. I guess from say Taj Boyd through Trevor Lawrence
yeah, I mean they were.
with our main man, the massage
But they
man
also had the
himself.
benefit of not not a lot of tough
Yes,
week in week out.
so they could get to the
competition.
championship with. That's a fair point.
But
Yeah.
yes, they were talented, obviously.
But Dabo hasn't used NIL like these other schools. Hasn't used the portal like the other schools. So yeah, I'm interested to see.
Well, yeah, that's what ran Nick Saban out of the game.
Ran them out.
Well,
So,
yeah.
It's a different world.
That's a good article with.
So
And
that's
Kirby
already,
has
it's already
one, too.
hard enough to recruit kids, and now you have to compete
You
with
have to
all the other stuff.
You have to recruit them constantly, even when they're
Yeah.
there.
So that's, yeah, I understand frustration. Sorry, go ahead.
There is a Chris Lowe article with Saban,
Mhm.
and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Chris Lowe also has an article with Kirby about all that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're not going to get into it, but Chris Lowe does a really good job, and I think it's unbiased. Hey, this is just what's going on. It's the Wild West, and then Saban's take, and then another article with Kirby's take.
Yeah.
Because
Could
if
be.
Kirby was older, I think he'd say the hell with it too.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's
he's
going to be
only in his
ever
40s.
evolving while they get this figured out. I think eventually they'll get it
Yeah,
somewhat
that's-
regulated.
right.
Right now,
Right.
it's the Wild West.
If I was
as you said.
72 years old and I had done everything in the sport, I'd say
Yeah.
adios.
If I was
right there with you.
62, I'd have. If I was 40, if I was 22 and done everything in the sport, I'd have been gone.
Well, then Kirby should leave.
I agree with you. What else is there left to do?
I think he wants to build a dynasty.
I guess if you get in that mindset, then you just like you're a worker and all that. But I
Yeah.
guess I'm lazy because I'm like,
I do have some insider knowledge for you that the portal will open after G-Day, so spring game, and I'm sure our listeners that live here know that the big kind of fan-attended scrimmage. There are several scrimmages, but the fan-attended scrimmage termed G-Day is the end of the spring practice, the culmination, if you will,
Mhm.
and then the portal opens that next Monday or whatever, and I believe it's going to be a little unkind to the team.
Okay. Well, it's the way it is these days. But they don't get their starting spot or get up the depth chart, they're out of here.
But everybody was freaking out after the bowls when they were losing people, and during the bowls when they were losing people. And
all right, so
to be fine.
Swole LaValley. To this point, all right, say you were competing for the top spot at your position, which apparently I don't know what it was. So
you're wide receiver.
Yeah, okay. So you're
wide receiver. Everyone heard it.
You're competing for the wide receiver spot to be a starter or whatever, be in the mix. You go through spring practice. You see the writing on the wall. The coaches tell you, yeah, you're not going to be the top, whatever. You're not going to be in the rotation, but you're, obviously we hope to use you. If you had the opportunity, would you use the portal to go somewhere maybe smaller where you could play?
Man, that's a tough question. There's a lot of variables. I think the other thing in today's game, you see the game's a lot more wide open. In other words, they're rolling guys in and out.
Yeah.
They're playing more wideouts. They're going 3-4 wide all the time. So it just depended upon how much I foresaw myself playing, and then what other places I would play. Because I mean, it's one thing to play at another place, but maybe it's not quite as, I don't know, prestigious. You're playing at Georgia. You're playing to go to a national championship, an SEC championship. Like, you're on the top stage. And if you're going to be able to contribute at least to a certain degree, then yeah, I would probably stay. But and then on top of that, I mean, guys are getting injured all the time. You're one injury.
I guess that's a harder spot to do because there's so much turnover. But like quarterback spot, so Vandergrift that left and went to Kentucky. Like, I don't blame him for going to Kentucky because he's coming up on his junior year. Like, he hasn't played. He's played sparingly, and now he has a chance to start. No, I don't blame him for taking the portal. Now, if he takes the portal again, some guys are like just going every year.
Like JT Daniels is
that guy went to
transferred 100 times. And been in college football for like 8 years.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, I think he finally retired.
He didn't even play in their bowl game because he medically retired. Said he had too many concussions or something of that nature.
Right. So I think in certain situations it makes sense. Yeah. And then sometimes guys just jump ship and it ends up not working out. So you really got to just sit back and.
For you specifically, looking back on your life and career, would you ever rather done what you did? Obviously, you can't change that. You had a very honorable thing. And I'm saying like a good thing. Nothing against it. If you had the opportunity to go back, do you think you would have gone somewhere smaller to play more? Like maybe a D2 school to play more?
I don't know, man.
They'd have made him go to class. He didn't want to do
that. You knew it was coming, Swole.
I've already established, man. We go to class. Yeah. Just wishful thinking on his part.
I'm not wishing anything. I'm just speaking facts.
We've all made it to about a similar place in life, so as far as employment goes, at least.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I think the biggest. I probably would have stayed because for the challenge, I mean, I think probably one of the biggest things that hurt me was getting hurt. Yeah. So just the opportunity and chance, to make it is I probably would have took that same opportunity. Yeah. You can't control everything, and so there's just so many different factors and dynamics that go into a decision like that. It's really hard to say unless you're in it and you have all these different options. But I mean, I probably still would have took the shot like I did. So definitely went to win the Tech, that's for sure.
Hey, there you go. True dog.
Yeah, that's what's lost in today's day and age is the prestige of the school.
Yeah,
and embracing the challenge, like he said, or development. I think Kirby calls it development.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Mark Richt was in a similar situation. He was at Miami, and he was behind. I forget the quarterback's name. He was actually all set to transfer, and then like at the last minute, like they had a party, he was gone, and then the day before he left, he changed his mind, stuck it out, and never really got to be a starter.
Yeah.
But then he ended up getting a shot to go to the NFL, got behind John Elway, of course, and we know how that turned out. So you know, it never really worked out for him either. But still, I mean, you got the prestige,
Right.
the place, the opportunity, the challenge, all that. I think, you know, it's something that motivates some guys. Everybody's different though.
That makes sense.
Oh, I could tiz them out right here, because I am the only member of this panel that did transfer in college. And it was an easy decision for me going from a school. Now, I went from one athletic association, so NCAA Division III, to NAIA.
But
So-
see, back then you couldn't transfer D1 to D1. You had to go a division lower. Now you can go.
Right.
Well, I kind of got it all backwards, because I went from NCAA Division III to a NAIA Division I, but it was to the south.
You actually could transfer, but you had to sit out.
Yes, out of year.
Right, but
You're
now
right.
you don't have
If
to.
I would have done that within the NCAA, I would have had to sit out a year.
Right.
Now there's no penalty.
Right.
I went from one athletic association to another, so those rules did not apply. And NAIA, just as a whole, has looser academic rules, to Pack's point.
Sounds like you didn't go to class.
I missed some classes.
Well, let me ask Pac-Man this: how much class did you go to in high school?
Hey,
You're
look,
probably skipping all kind of classes.
look. We are highly successful adults.
But you
You
graduated
are
with like
very
a C
successful.
average, didn't you?
Hey, they're even screwing, skewing, I meant to say, not screwing. We know what's on my mind. But California is switching the grading scale to an A will be between 84 and 100.
It's, yeah. What, they grade on a bell curve? Is that what it is?
Hey, there
And
you
that's
go.
statewide. But I'm down for it.
California's a clown state.
C's get degrees. We know where Swole stands.
Yes, on that cruise missile.
Mark Rick backed up Jim Kelly to your point.
That's
Swole.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Special agent sent in a question. She wants to know what was the first make and model of your first car.
Ooh, good
I
question.
said first too many times, but
Ooh.
you get the gist.
Back in high school, I
Yeah,
had a
yes.
Toyota Corolla Sport.
Oh, a sport.
The American Racing rims.
I am the youngest member of this panel, I think.
Yeah.
I know I'm pretty close to Swole. I'll be 37 in May. I don't know if that makes me the youngest or not.
It does.
It does.
But yeah, Toyota Corolla was hot then though.
It was
Yeah.
the sport version, not the regular.
That's right.
You are the sport version, Swole. Wide receiver
Broke
with
down,
dual exhaust.
taped together.
What
You
year,
looking at me
what year was
back?
this Corolla?
89.
89.
Okay.
What
You
was that car?
want? Yeah, we call it the Thesaurus. But first car was a 1993 blue Ford Taurus.
Oh, that's a
And then
good one.
upgraded to a 95 white. But those were my first two cars were
Nice.
Ford Tauruses that came from grandpa to older brother to the sheriff.
There you go. Back.
1989 Nissan Pulsar.
Oh, man. And you
First
were,
car. Had T-tops.
Pulsar.
Pulsar. P-U-L-S-A-R.
Yeah, all right, I got you now.
Yep.
Well, we need a screen. We can
Yeah,
pull
you
up a
need to see
picture.
what that is. It's a
all
tiny
right,
little
check
car.
with the stat guy.
Oh,
Or maybe we can
It was baby,
get that on the...
baby blue, like a real light blue.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I was happy to have a
yeah.
car.
Yeah, man, and having a car in high school.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I was 16. I got it from my.
There it is, Swole. Kind of looks like the DeLorean a little
It,
bit.
it does
Wow.
kind of look like a DeLorean.
That
yeah.
is, yeah, definitely look that
I'll
up
have
because that's an interesting
Baby
car.
blue.
Show
Yeah.
that to the listeners here. Man, that's a
So I was
cool-looking car.
16 in 1998. I think that's right. Anyways, I had a 1986 Chevy
Oh,
S10 black with a pleather bench seat.
Ooh, okay. Hey.
And
Seats wipe off easy, huh?
Yeah, I was, shout out to our friends in Gwinnett, fellow dog lovers. They have an area where we do some training that's classic movie cars, and a lot of pleather.
yeah, it was
And it's a very distinct smell.
and I promptly went and put rims on my
Man, you were,
1986 S10.
while you were learning the correct way to say orange, right?
Hey, had to
Look at
fit
the perfect
in.
frames.
So I put some rims on it.
Put some spinners
and,
on?
Not spinners, but they were chrome.
Chrome
They
rims.
were chrome rims.
Wow.
Well, rims rims or hubcaps?
No, they were rims. Yeah, they were good.
Would our Nordic friends say that you had the Fred Durst clothing line, or
I didn't have the clothing line. A friend Durst would have been proud to ride in my SC.
or Paul Wall was our other shout
Went
out?
and got a CD player put in it. They had the removable face.
So you are a white man with soul. I think that's the safest way for
went
me
to
to say
Putnam
that.
County High School. Yes, I was.
In Etod Town.
That's right. So yes.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Look at you, Sleezy, with the
Yeah.
Denver lean seat laid back.
Well, there's no room to lean the seat back because it was a single cab.
Okay.
Ace in his new house wanted to know if you were to trade places with any superhero, who would you pick and why?
That's a good question.
Man.
I'm not really a superhero guy.
I got one.
Go ahead, Chair.
Nah, go ahead, Swole. You gotta get the guest go first.
I can marinate on that one.
I'd trade with Swole LaValley.
Yeah, you might be, and actually go to class.
Yeah, that's right. You have to go to class to get traded. That might not be so fun.
You meet some Asian tutors.
Gee.
You could have a couple of female recruiting staffers that would take care of you.
I'd probably trade places with Superman. I mean, just stay away from kryptonite. That's all you got to do. It wasn't that hard. I didn't try to save nobody. He was always trying to save people, and they were throwing kryptonite at him. I just stay away from it. Don't fly around.
Or I guess Batman.
Yeah, I'm
You
kinda more
know,
along
because
Batman.
like you're just a rich dude.
True. You don't have to go out and fight crime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got
either one of
more-
those.
Yeah, I'd probably lean a little more towards Batman. I
Just to
guess.
be rich.
Drive car,
I don't know.
motorcycles.
I'd probably turn into like a bank robber if I was Superman. Just go rob.
Use your
people.
power for evil.
That's right.
Of course.
Snatch them gold
Working
bullion.
both sides of the law.
Them gold bullion cubes.
I was going to say Deadpool just because our personalities are already there with the
Then you'd be
being a
deformed.
menace.
Then you'd be deformed.
That's right.
But-
You have ugly face.
I would really more just go for the superpower that Adam Sandler has in the movie Click, and the exact way that he used it as well. With just being able to rewind time, pause it,
Pause.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'd all like change.
be able to
our
slow-mo some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of the female species, so he was pausing and slow-moing some stuff when people were jogging.
All right.
It's a good movie to see. But I
It is a
just
good
like to
movie.
have the remote and click and just be myself.
I got you.
So if I worked out like Swole, I could fast forward through that. If I had a nice steak
There
dinner,
you
I
go.
could take my time and play it like half speed. Or maybe if I was doing something really enjoyable, I could slow it down. You
Slow
know
it
what
down.
I'm saying?
Be done in 3 minutes
Yeah,
instead
that's
of a
it.
minute and a
I
half.
could do 4 minutes like our former coworker. I can make it maybe 20.
Wait, what form? Wait,
I could
what?
be off the map.
You know,
Oh,
yes,
I'm
you
trying.
gotta stay in code for that
I'm
one.
trying. I get it.
dude, I still can't believe
Yeah.
He needed the remote for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I sat in the parking lot for a few minutes. They would have had me on the GPS
Hey,
for
if you
4
had-
minutes somewhere. I'd have sat.
If you had the click remote though, Pack, you could
that's it.
control
Yeah,
time.
That's true. That's true.
There might have been no complaints if you had the remote.
Yep. Anyway, booty meat.
Good transition there.
Big game James. One of your coworkers
Okay.
sent in. This is
what a
specifically for you.
What a name.
He wanted to know. You know, we already said it's been 7 months since your surgery. Aaron Rodgers was post-surgery, like 3 months later, ready to lead a team as a quarterback.
Let me just go ahead.
He wanted to know, how did Aaron Rodgers make it back full speed
Great question.
way before Swole
I
LaValley?
appreciate that question.
The different modalities.
The short answer is it is a lie.
Oh, not.
He could. First of all, let me tell you, even in his own words, if you watch his interviews on the McAfee show, which I did, because obviously we were roughly at the same time period, he can't go past 90 degrees in dorsiflexion for the first 12 weeks, which is 3 months. So dorsiflexion is when you bend your ankle back. And if you've ever tried to run or jump, you can't run or jump without going past 90 degrees.
Shout out Tommy Dorsey.
And the gentleman, Jack, is kicking in. Shout him out. Well,
So
So So you're saying it was all farce?
He did say that. I will back Swole. I've seen several interviews, but
Right.
not all of them.
So
He did say
the
that.
idea that he was going to be back in 4 months was absolutely impossible. And if, he was so able to come back, why was he not able to come back on the active roster at that point?
They were out of contention.
Oh, okay, that's what.
They did put him on the active roster,
They did,
but he just
wasn't-
practiced.
Right, he was on the active roster, but not actually able to play. So my point
PackMan's
is,
trying to hold down the
Oh, I know.
right now. Look at him.
we had this conversation.
smiling.
He was.
My point
attention
is,
craving
you
diva.
physically can't come back within 4 months because to get that extra bit of mobility in the
got
Achilles
you.
tendon takes a period of time. Not to mention, you're not, the muscle atrophy and the weakness in the calf muscle takes a lot of time to regain. So there was absolutely no way he was going to be able to explode, run, or jump. So maybe he could have took 2 steps back, and if he couldn't throw it, he's going to have to fall down. So there was absolutely no way he was coming back. So I appreciate that, he was doing all the different modalities, taking his
77 days.
mushrooms, but as much as he wanted to, there's no way he actually could have. And
He had a special pair of shoes, John.
yeah, all they raised his heel up.
Well, you said you could heal like that.
Say what?
I meant to bring that up earlier. You said if you could let nature take its course, I think if
Right.
you held your foot at a certain plantar flexion,
But unless you plan on hopping around on one leg,
which he wasn't doing.
right?
Shout out
So
to
you
the house on
can't.
the prairie.
Shout out to Charles Ingle.
So he can't. He actually can't
No
push
more
off.
gentleman jack for you.
This is good stuff. Whatever I got, secret beverage. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No. So the point is that he actually couldn't run effectively in a cleat. So that's great if you can hop around the field with an elevated, with a shoe that elevates your heel, which is basically the same thing as walking around in the boot. So to answer his question, there's no way he could have come back, and he wasn't coming back. I promise you. He was probably the person hoping the most that they wouldn't be in contention. He's like, please, let's not be in contention, because I'd actually have to show how
come
far
off.
away he can.
Come off that he can't actually play. That he was
Now,
just
I will
looking
say
for
that
attention the whole
somehow Cam Akers, who was with the Rams, came back kind of in 6 months. I don't know if there's any lingering effects, but ever since, he did fairly well, but since then he seems to have dropped off. So I don't know if there was some residual. The problem is you can't go past 90 degrees, because if your Achilles heals in an elongated state, you literally don't have the power to run and jump. So it has to heal with the tension in it, and then you have to stretch it back out over time, which is not something you do overnight. So that's what I'm saying. It's physically impossible for him to be ready.
That makes sense now, because he kept saying that on the McAfee show that he wanted it to stretch but not strain, or he
Stress
kept
but
saying-
not stretch.
There you go. Stretch
Right.
but not
So, which
stretch.
I understood exactly what he's saying. He's being very cryptic and not really going into detail. So yeah, stress it, work it out, try to build that little bit of strength, but you're extremely limited until you can try to get that mobility back in your Achilles, which takes time. It's taken me months I'm almost back to where my right one is, but I'm still a few degrees off, and that's just constantly working it.
So in all your research, did you find anything to prevent, to help prevent Achilles tear?
Yeah, I would say that you need to,
Whatever,
you need to basically, like anything
got
else, Achilles tears.
tearing, I don't know the right verb. Rupturing.
There you
I know,
go.
that's the
Pack's
word.
got it.
Yeah, you need to train the Achilles and train in
To do what?
to function. To do what? So basically, you have to
All
work
right,
to
that's enough for tonight.
You can strengthen the tendon, basically. So some of the ways that you can do that are different plyometrics on the balls of your feet. Also, a lot of isometrics with heavy weight in those different positions are going to help strengthen the Achilles. So a combination of that will help to strengthen the Achilles. And I think probably as we get older, if we're not really training that specifically, obviously like anything else, get a little bit older, it gets a little bit weaker. And if you're not training to strengthen it, then it becomes susceptible. So you'll be fine, man. I think you should. I never really incorporated it specifically, but now I kind of see you should probably do a few things here and there to try to give it some attention.
John is obviously still sober. I will define isometrics for the listeners who may be cleaning or drinking like us, minus me, of course. A system of physical exercises in which muscles are caused to act against each other or against a fixed object. So I guess you're talking about you could stretch your calf against the wall. Or...
So like, for example, if you got up as high as you can on the balls of your feet and raising your heels off the ground as high as you can, and you put a heavy amount of weight on your back, and you just held that for at least, I think to be effective you need to hold it for at least 30 seconds. That's going to activate the tendon a little bit more. So you don't want to just focus on your calf muscle. So you can also do it in the position of dorsiflexion, where you're just holding that amount, and then also training some different plyometrics, different jumps and hops or whatever, where it's getting activated.
Yeah, I guess you spent some time in a calf raise machine where you could do that, or a leg press.
Yeah, I bought a calf raise machine and brought it to the house. I'm like, I got a long ways to go. So
shout out to Swole, earning the name. I'm sure that equipment was not cheap.
Like $100-some.
There you go.
Maybe
You
money.
gotta get one.
You can't hide it.
You
can't hide it.
Still got that leftover UGA money.
Yeah.
I see what you drove over
Called a
here.
booster and said, "Help me out, I'm hurt."
Well, Sean, if you went to class,
Hey, he's a well-educated man over here talking about ruptured.
Yeah.
That's right. Don't let Sean fool you.
Well,
Barry,
that's still one of my biggest fears. I'm
you
terrified
need
of
a
it.
calf raise machine. You heard it.
About to go look up isometrics, plyometrics,
All of it.
biometrics, all the metrics.
You use biometrics to unlock your phone.
I think,
Oh, so he can throw his shots, but I throw his shots.
I think a svelte man like you is going to be all right. Which I don't. Does weight have anything to do with it? I guess would be the question I would ask you.
I mean, it can. If you try to move too fast, it might be a little bit too much for your tendons.
Fair enough. That's what Big Brain says.
So yes, I have actually slimmed down a little bit more just to help make the healing a little bit easier. So
Not as swole.
not as swole. I'm trying to just get a little bit leaner, man. So
Call him Lean LaValley
That's
next
it.
time.
not to be confused with the drinks.
Yeah, Hack's just going to be giving them out. I like that. We had a little side conversation going.
I see.
Anybody that needs more tendons,
Got
call
some
the show.
All of them.
But I was going to say, of course, surprise, surprise. I don't know what I was going to say. Go ahead.
There we go. No, I was about to wind this down. So we're at our time limit. We don't want to pay extra tonight.
I got probably a double knee replacement coming, so I'm not as scared of the Achilles.
I'm terrified of it. But we hope your recovery goes 100%. Gets all the way back so you can continue your swollenness. Appreciate you coming.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Taking some time to come over and tell us all about your time
We
skipping
had to
class.
pry it out of him, man.
Yeah.
The guy's a Division
Nah,
I stud.
No, it's a really cool thing that you've done, like accomplishment that you have. So
I was
it's cool
going
to
to
talk about
ask Swole if he had ever lost any races with non-law-abiding citizens. 'Cause that's another rumor that's floating around.
What's the rumor?
The scuttlebutt is
That you never lost
maybe he's like
Never
the
lost a
co-ed
foot
team.
chase.
I pretty much caught.
I don't know if that was. I may have just assumed a wide receiver at Georgia should
Well, an
be
old
catching unhealthy
man.
people. Well, you're
The
very
problem
much more
with-
healthy than.
non-law-abiding citizens is that they stay the same age and we get older.
That's right.
That's the
They're
problem.
17.
Yes,
Every year.
Every year.
every year. And
Oh,
then
I got you.
And
Yeah.
you've got to carry 20,
Yeah.
25
So
extra
it's-
pounds of
It's
gear.
unfair, and then they've got corners and doors they can go into. But
And never
I would say that he has never, in my experience, never lost one that was fair. Not even fair, just one that wasn't where they were able to dip into a house somewhere when he was chasing.
Man, I used to love it.
Yeah.
When I was with John and somebody would run, I'd be like, oh, y'all messed up, boy. Get him, John.
K9 John.
K9 John.
Sean's pretty fleet of foot too. Y'all don't let him fool you. This guy's got some athleticism.
Extra
too.
tendons. And now he can just outlast them for 25 minutes.
That's what I would have to do now.
Just put his
That's
earbuds
right.
in and say, hold on,
Yep.
keep going,
There
baby.
you go.
I know I might have to transition to a dog. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You go get it.
There you go. Hey, got tryouts coming.
That's what the young people are for.
That's right.
I didn't know what you were saying. I thought you were talking about they may have some level of intoxication where they thought they were 17. But I got
No,
you
no,
now.
no. They
No,
just stay
they
the same
literally,
age.
they're literally 17.
The analogy
Every
I
year.
use, with all due respect to, we love all humans, again, I'll throw that out there, the arcade game whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of our profession in a nutshell.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
you catch one, there's 3 more popping up.
Well, yeah, to summarize, even if you caught one and they changed their ways and were never bad again, which doesn't happen, but if they were, you've got another generation right behind them or the next school year right behind them coming up.
Yeah, that's right.
So they just have to learn their lesson over and over again, and then they never do.
With young
Anyways,
Achilles.
I won't even get them all on
knees.
soapbox here. So.
Come on,
No, not tonight.
I was going to bring up a UGA assistant coach while
Nope.
I was at it.
All right. Swole LaValley, appreciate you coming.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
PackMan Sheriff, thank you for your time as always.
Glad to be back.
We'll catch you hopefully next week. Yeah. All right.
If we don't get canceled over Michael Landon, we'll be here.
Hey, long live Michael Landon, straight Michael Landon. We appreciate it. All right. Let's catch you next time.